The new year is upon us, and a lot of people are wanting to start the new year off on the right foot. Hey, Elizabeth here, and today I am going to show you a guide to time management. This has really helped me over the years, and what I'm going to show you is two resources that I've used, that I've put together, that has really helped me, and what that has done for me and how it might help you. Maybe some or all of what I share with you today will give you a little bit more of what you need to get things done and do the things you want to do. So I know that this would be good for those who need it. Those who don't need it, that's fine. But those who struggle with getting things done or managing their time, they want to do stuff that they don't have time for, this might be able to help you out, okay? So the first resource I came across was this guy here, and what he showed in a video, and I'm sorry I can't find the video. I tried to find it and I can't find it, so I can't share with you the video that I found. But he basically said that we all have 168 hours in a week, and he divided that into 4 areas: work, sleep, eating, grooming, and driving, and goals or other. And so he said that if you're working 40 hours a week, like a lot of people do, and let's say you're sleeping 8 hours a night, 56 hours a week, he says the average for eating, grooming, and driving is 35 hours a week, and that leaves everything else over here. And so what I did was I tracked this for 2 weeks, and I wrote down whether that hour I spent was in one of these categories, and I was surprised to find how really accurate it was. So what I discovered by doing this was I am an 8-hour person for sleep, and maybe you're not. Maybe you only need 7 or 6 hours, which would make these other ones adjust. Or if you don't work 40 hours a week, again, you'd have to adjust these hours. And then you might find that you have more time for the things that you want to do in your life. Maybe you want to start a business, or you want more time with your family, or doing something for yourself. So I suggest starting off with keeping track of these 4 areas and find out how much time you need for sleep each night. And what was interesting about this is because I found out that I'm an 8-hour person, when I was getting 8 hours, and then I was finding that during the day I was getting tired and I needed naps, I was like, well, something's not right here. And so then I was able to discover another issue that I had to resolve, because it just wasn't good for me to be having 8 hours of sleep at night and needing more sleep during the day. So luckily I was able to figure that issue out by knowing how much sleep I need per night. So then the other resource that I've used, that I put together, is this book is called Ula, Find Balance in an Unbalanced World, by these 2 guys here. And in a nutshell, their book talks about that there's 7 areas in your life: your faith, your family, your field, your finance, your fitness, your friends, and your fun. And so what I decided to do was to merge these 2 things together. And how I did that was I looked at these things and figured out, well, where do they fall under with work, sleep, eat, and groom? So the G stands for the goals, the W stands for the work, and S is for sleep, E is for the eat, groom, and driving. So what I discovered was that the field is the work, and that's, however many hours of work you work for the week. And that a lot of these things actually fell under your goals or other. And fitness had sleep and eat. And interestingly enough, is if you are sleeping 8 hours a night, and if this is accurate that you spend 35 hours a week on eating, grooming, and driving, then somewhere around 5 hours a day, average, is this category here. And then if you are exercising, say 1 hour a day, that Now it's 14 hours in a 24-hour period of time just to maintain your body. And so this is something that shouldn't be ignored, because that's more than half of a 24-hour period is for maintaining yourself. So that was interesting. But what I found was most of these things did fall under the goals, the other. And so you need to first figure out how many hours do you have for those other areas. And then what you can do is divide up those hours. And I just put it like this, but everyone's going to be different. This isn't even what I do. My fitness for exercising is more of a 3 to 4 hour in a week thing, which would affect all the others. And for my fun, I play volleyball once a week, and that's about 1 to 2 hours, and that's sufficient for me. But for you, maybe you spend more or less time in any of these areas, but now you can see where those hours are going, which is super important. So the important thing to do with this list here is to prioritize it. You need to know what is most important to you and maybe put it in a specific order. And also to think of it as these are little flower pots. Everything in our life is either getting better or worse. The flowers are either growing or dying, or there's weeds that need to be plucked out. Or if you like to work out, think of it all as muscles. And your muscles are either getting stronger or weaker. We might plateau for a little while, but it's either going to get better or worse. And so we need to maintain these things. And maybe you're really good in one area and not so good in another area. Just knowing that can help you to get better in the area that you're weak in, and maybe not spend so much time and focus on the area that comes easy to you. So the next step is, this is just a general example. This is not my schedule, but let's say you work 8 hours a day, and so you got 6 a.m. all the way down to the 5 a.m. You get up at 6, and maybe that's your first G because you have 7 hours in the week. So you spend an hour there with your faith or meditation, prayer, and then you have to get ready for the day. You're eating, you're driving to work, and then your 9 to 5 is when you're at work. You get home, you're driving home, you eat dinner, and now you have all of these G's. You can spend time with your family, or exercise, work on your finances, do something fun for yourself. And then you go to bed at 10 and you get 8 hours of sleep. Everybody is different, and even the days of the week will be different. So Monday through Friday might be similar, but then the weekend's very different. So if you're saying, this is so unrealistic, I don't have time Monday through Friday to work on these G's. When I get home from work, I'm exhausted. I don't have time for this. Well, on Saturday and Sunday, you don't have work. And so maybe that's when you'll have more of this to work on during that time period. But what you'll find is we are our habits. And an example of that is, you can think of somebody who is exercising or not exercising. The person who's not exercising, they might look a certain way because of their habits of not exercising. But for someone who is exercising, they might look a certain way because they are exercising. So we are our habits. And so we need to have the self-discipline to do the things that are important to us, because what we spend our time on, that's what we become, or what we see around us, what we see our life is because of our daily habits. You know, think of a person who's in the Olympics. Think of the time and energy and focus that they put in to be where they are. It just didn't happen overnight. They had to be self-disciplined, they had to prioritize, and it's the same for us. Think of something in your life that you're really, really good at. How much time and effort did you put in to be that good in that area? So that's how much time and effort you need to put in an area that you're weak in, that you neglected for years. Now you realize, ooh, that's actually more important than I realized before. And so you'll prioritize this, but it might not stay that way. In the future, you might realize that family is more important than, I don't know, you find something. You'll just find what's more important to you. And also, when you are prioritizing, you're going to want to, as a tip, put the most important things maybe in the beginning of the day, because then you won't have to stress all day that you got to get something super important done. Get it done early in the day if you can. And so for me, I start off with my day, I was always starting it off with my faith and my relationship and time with the Lord. But I was really weak in the area of my exercising. I was not being consistent with my exercising. And what I found out when I was reflecting and trying to fix my issue there of not being consistent, if I exercise first thing in the morning, not that it's more important than my faith, but if I did that first thing, then it was actually getting done. It's not that the exercising is more important, but I do put it first thing now, 4 a.m., and right afterwards, then my time with the Lord. When you do block these things off, then if you're at work, you don't have to be thinking, oh, I should be spending time with my family, or you're not at home with your family going, oh my goodness, I have to be doing this at work and I need to do that at work. You won't have to feel that way because you know, I have scheduled my time with my family. Right now I can focus on my work, and when I get to that time, I can be with my family and focus on the family. And then when you're with your family, you can say to yourself, I don't need to think about work. It's waiting for me when I get back there, and there's always more to do in every area. And so you just make your schedule what you think is best for you, and know that put all of your time, all of your focus on that 1 hour or more than 1 hour, because you know you will get to those other things because you've scheduled them. So then over here, what's a really good thing to do, let me take these off, is to track your progress, maybe daily or weekly or once a month, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good, okay, happy face there, and 1 being not so good. How is your faith, your family, your field, your finances, your fitness, your fun? Where would you put it? How are you doing? And if you see an area that's not doing so good, maybe we need to spend more time there and less time on something else. And if you need motivation to work on an area that you're weak in and you really don't enjoy it, so you don't want to do it, for example, exercising, I don't enjoy that, then something that can help you have motivation to work in that area that you're not good in is to think about the areas that you really, really enjoy. And is it possible that you might not be able to do the things you enjoy doing because you're neglecting another area? For example, if you really don't enjoy exercising and you don't want to do it, think of what you really do enjoy. What if you really enjoy spending time with your grandchildren? Or you're highly involved in the community, volunteering your time, or your church, or any of the other areas. You really enjoy your sport. Well, use that as motivation. You won't be able to be with your family if your health is falling apart, or to do the charity work, or maybe your sport, whatever it is, because your health is failing and you're maybe bedridden, something awful that maybe possibly could have been prevented if you did spend the time on that area that you don't enjoy. So think about that. Think if the area you're neglecting is affecting the areas that you really enjoy, and use that as motivation to spend the time on that area you don't like. So with the fitness, I actually have 2 lines, because there's the energy in what we eat, and there's the energy we put out, our exercising. So I actually have 2 lines for the fitness other than the other ones. And another note back over here, I would say, is I know that Ula talks about these areas I actually group friends with family, and I call it relationships. And something I've added is a fit house. So how much time am I spending a week making my house clean, doing the dishes, laundry, vacuuming, things like that. So I group the friends and family together. You're going to hopefully get started on something, and then as you go along, you'll tweak it to be better for yourself. I started off doing this on a piece of paper. Show that real quick. But now I don't have it on paper. I have it on my calendar in my tablet, and so I use Google Calendar. You can use Google Calendar, or you might start with paper and pencil like I did. And at first I was really glued to my paper and I had to look at it often. But now it's become more of a habit. I don't need to look at that so much. I know what I'm going to do. And so that's one way that you can get started, is write down your hours, what time you get up. Mine is 4 a.m. If I'm being self-disciplined. 4 a.m. to exercise, and that's what my day is. But start that out, decide what's important, put it in those time slots, and on your paper, in your Google Calendar, in the morning, read your goals that you've written out and review them. Review means to visualize or to meditate and focus. I couldn't think of a word that was visualized that started with an R, so I put review because all of these are. And in the evening, you're going to reflect and refill for the next day. So in the evening, reflect on how the day went. Okay, and check that off. I did reflect on how the day went. What went right? What went wrong? And if it went wrong, how can I fix that? How can I fix that for the future so I don't have to, maybe I need to put my alarm so far from my bed that I have to get out of bed to turn it off. So you reflect, and then you refill for the next day. You have your piece of paper or your Google Calendar, and you look at the next day and you refill it out on what you need to do. And so this, I hope, has helped you. I hope you found some things or many things, and please give it a try. Let me know if anything here was good for you, and don't get upset if you find that you have days where you're not self-disciplined and you fail. Okay, everyone trips and falls, but to get really strong in any area, it's going to take a lot of time and effort, just like that Olympic person. And so there's going to be days where you're going to fall and fall on your face, and you just got to get up and keep going, because the more you do that, the easier it'll get. I think of the area in my life that I'm really good at, and I've spent most of my life working on that one area that I'm really good at. And I think of the area that I'm really not good at, and it's like, oh, I didn't think that was important when I was younger, so I really neglected it. Now I realize how important it is, and I'm trying to pour all this time and energy into it, but I am not going to see results overnight. It doesn't work that way. I do have to start now and make those good changes in that area I'm weak at, but it's going to take time and effort to really get to where I want it to be, because I neglected it for so long. So again, I hope that this helped you. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and if you do any of these things, or if you have any advice you would like to add to this, that would be great too. See you next week.